In a small town nestled between rolling hills and green forests, there lived a young girl named Lily. Lily was known for her bright smile and curious nature, but lately, that smile had been hard to find. You see, Lily had been facing a lot of troubles lately, and she didn't know what to do with them. One day, as Lily walked home from school with her shoulders slumped and her head down, she bumped into old Mr. Wilson, the town's wise elder. Mr. Wilson had lived in the town for as long as anyone could remember, and people often came to him for advice. "Why the long face, Lily?" Mr. Wilson asked, his eyes twinkling with kindness. Lily sighed heavily. "Oh, Mr. Wilson, I have so many troubles. I don't know what to do with them all." Mr. Wilson stroked his white beard thoughtfully. "Troubles, you say? Well, my dear, I think I might have just the solution for you. Come with me." Intrigued, Lily followed Mr. Wilson to his cozy little house at the edge of town. The house was surrounded by a beautiful garden full of colorful flowers and oddly shaped rocks. Once inside, Mr. Wilson rummaged through an old chest and pulled out a large, empty glass jar. He handed it to Lily. "Here," he said, "this is a magic jar. It can help you with your troubles." Lily looked at the jar skeptically. "How can an empty jar help me, Mr. Wilson?" The old man chuckled. "Ah, but it's not just any jar, Lily. It's a trouble jar. Every time you have a trouble, big or small, I want you to write it down on a piece of paper and put it in this jar. Can you do that for me?" Lily nodded, still unsure but willing to try anything. "Good," Mr. Wilson said. "Come back in a week, and we'll see how it's working." For the next week, Lily diligently wrote down all her troubles and put them in the jar. When her math homework was too hard, she wrote it down and put it in the jar. When she argued with her best friend, that went in the jar too. Even when she couldn't find her favorite toy, she put that trouble in the jar. By the end of the week, the jar was nearly full of little pieces of paper. Lily felt a little better, but her troubles still weighed heavily on her mind. She returned to Mr. Wilson's house as promised. The old man invited her in and asked to see the jar. My, he said, examining the jar full of troubles. "You've been busy, haven't you? Now, let's see what we can do about these troubles of yours." Mr. Wilson took Lily out to his garden. He pointed to a large, smooth rock near a bubbling fountain. "Lily," he said, "I want you to take out each piece of paper, read the trouble written on it, and then use this rock to grind the paper into dust." Lily was confused, but did as Mr. Wilson asked. One by one, she took out the papers, read her troubles aloud, and then ground them into dust on the rock. As she did this, something strange began to happen. With each trouble she turned to dust, Lily felt a little lighter, a little happier. Some troubles, "This one's really bothering me, Mr. Wilson," she said. The old man nodded understandingly. "Those are often the toughest troubles, Lily. But think about it. Has holding on to this trouble made things any better?" Lily shook her head. "Then perhaps it's time to let it go," Mr. Wilson suggested gently. Taking a deep breath, Lily read the trouble aloud and then ground it into dust, just like the others. After an hour, all the troubles were turned to dust. Mr. Wilson then led Lily to the bubbling fountain. "Now," he said, "cup your hands and scoop up some of the dust." Lily did as she was told, scooping up a handful of the fine, powdery dust that had once been her written troubles. "What do you notice about the dust, Lily?" Mr. Wilson asked. Lily looked closely at the dust in her hands. "It all looks the same," she said. "I can't tell which trouble is which anymore." Mr. Wilson smiled. "Exactly. When we hold on to our troubles, they seem big and different and overwhelming, but when we face them, when we work through them, they all turn to dust. And in the end, one trouble doesn't look much different from another." "Now," he continued, "I want you to blow the dust into the fountain." Lily took a deep breath and blew the dust off her hands. It swirled in the air for a moment before settling on the surface of the water and then slowly disappearing. You see, Lily, Mr. Wilson said, troubles are a part of life. They come, and with a little effort, they go. The trick is not to let them pile up in a jar, weighing you down. Face them, learn from them, and then let them go. Lily felt as if a huge weight had been lifted off her shoulders. She realized that by writing down her troubles and then literally grinding them away, she had faced them and let them go. "But Mr. Wilson," Lily asked, "what if I have more troubles in the future?" The old man's eyes twinkled. "Oh, you will, my dear. We all do. But now you know what to do with them. You can write them down if it helps. But remember, every trouble can be faced. Every trouble can be ground to dust, and every trouble can be let go." From that day on, Lily approached her troubles differently. Instead of letting them pile up, she faced them one by one. Sometimes she would visit Mr. Wilson's garden and use the smooth rock to remind herself that all troubles, no matter how big they seemed, could be ground down and let go. As the years passed, Lily grew into a strong, confident young woman. She never forgot the lesson of the trouble jar and the dust. She shared the story with others who were struggling, helping them find their own ways to face their troubles and let them go. And in the corner of her room, Lily kept the empty glass jar. Not to fill it with troubles, but to remind her of the day she learned one of life's most valuable lessons, that our troubles don't define us. It's how we face them that matters. So, the next time you find yourself weighed down by troubles, remember Lily's story. Take a deep breath, face your troubles one by one, and know that with time and effort, even the biggest troubles can be ground to dust and blown away. After all, it's not about having a life without troubles, but about learning to dance in the rain. Moral of the story. Number 1, troubles are a normal part of life, but how we handle them matters more than the troubles themselves. Number 2, facing our problems head-on is better than letting them accumulate and weigh us down. Number 3, by confronting our troubles, we often find that they're not as overwhelming as they first appeared. Number 4, it's important to learn from our difficulties, but equally important to let them go once we've dealt with them. Number 5, all troubles, regardless of their initial perceived magnitude, can be overcome with effort and the right perspective. Number 6, sharing our experiences and the wisdom we've gained can help others face their own challenges. Number 7, resilience and a positive attitude can be developed by learning to process and release our troubles effectively. The core message is encapsulated in the story's final lines. It's not about having a life without troubles, but about learning to dance in the rain. This emphasizes that the key to happiness and success isn't avoiding problems, but developing the skills and mindset to handle them gracefully. Did this story inspire you? Hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment about how you handle your own troubles. Your experience could help others. For more inspiring stories, subscribe and ring that notification bell. Remember, you have the power to overcome your challenges. Join our community of support. Like, share, comment, and subscribe today.